Okay, Chapter 9 Review, Part 4. Alright, we're going to now look at Example 4 on page 569. We are still solving rational expressions. We have 2 over x squared minus x. And we are going to set that equal to 1 over x minus 1. Alright, so what we're going to do now is to solve this, we are just going to do simple cross multiplication. Alright, so we would get x squared minus 1 times 1, set that equal to 2 times x minus 1. So on the left we get x squared minus 1, on the right we get 2x minus 2 after we distribute. Again, we're just going to shift everything over to the left. So we would get x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay, since we shifted everything over, we're going to set the entire thing equal to 0. Alright, now it looks like we've got a factor again. Alright, so we would have x minus 2 and x minus 1. Multiplying, we get positive 2. Adding, we get negative 3. Remember, you are solving for x, so we've got to set each factor to 0 and solve, so we get x is equal to negative 2 and x is equal to 1. Alright, so to practice the word problems that are going to be on your test, you're going to want to look at number 32. That is on page 579. And I'm just going to go ahead and help you set up that problem so you know how to study for it at home. I'll go ahead and read you the paragraph. It says you start a small beekeeping business spending $500 for equipment and bees. You figure it's going to cost you $1.25 per pound to collect, clean, bottle, and label the honey. How many pounds of honey must you produce before your average cost is $1.79? Okay, so you see that right there, your average cost. When we find the average of something, we are dividing. So we're going to go ahead and have to set up rational expressions that allow us to divide. You're just going to use the same video for your review as the 10H class. We're just going to add a couple of extra concepts. So let's go ahead and graph values for x that are going to make it easy to graph, and we want to choose some positive and negative values. So of course the first one that I am going to choose is 1. And when x is 1, then y is 4 over 1, which is 4. So let's plot 1, comma 4. Alright. When x is 2, y is 2. 4 over 2 is 2. So let's plot 2, 2. When x is 4, y is 1. Because 4 over 4 is 1. So now let's plot 4, 1. Alright, now let's go ahead and do some negative values. And when x is negative 1, then y is negative 4. So we're going to do negative 1, negative 4. When x is negative 2, y is negative 2. So now we can do negative 2 and negative 2. When x is 4, or negative 4 rather, y is negative 1. Negative 4, negative 1. Okay, so we have no x, no opposite h or negative h values, and we have no k values, so that's telling you that your asymptotes, right, are the axes themselves. So that means that when we go to draw out branches, they will never cross the asymptotes. Alright, so you've got more than enough points to go ahead and sketch a graph. Okay, and you're just going to go through your points as neat as you can, follow those asymptotes, never crossing. Okay, next problem we're going to look at is number 33. Same page, 544, we get x over 4x plus 3. Alright, so let's go ahead and identify my vertical asymptotes. So my negative h value is positive 3. Take the opposite of it, and that's going to become negative 3. So I'm going to do vertical right through negative 3. I have no k value on the outside here, so that means my horizontal asymptote is just the x-axis. Alright, now we have an idea about where we're going to put our branches. Remember, they're going to be reflections of each other. Let's go ahead and do another xy table. Alright, so the first point that I think is probably easiest to graph is going to be 0. Alright, so when x is 0, then y is 0. Because if we have x in our numerator, then anything divided by 0 is going to be 0. So we can plot a point right here as 0, 0. Okay. Now if you look at 0, 0, it looks like it's like right on the asymptote. However, it's going to maybe be on it, but it's never going to go below it. So you know we're going to have one branch here probably, and then another branch over here. So let's just see where this takes us. Alright, another value that my denominator 0. So all you're going to do is take your denominator, set it equal to 0, and solve for x. So we get 4x is equal to negative 3, divide out the 4, negative 3/4. Alright, so our vertical asymptote is actually at negative 3/4, which is approximately right here. Alright, now to find your horizontal asymptote, you're going to want to take a look at your degrees. Since my degrees are the same, 1 and 1, the degree is attached to the x, you're just going to do 1/4, which is 1/4, so that means your vertical asymptote, sorry about that, let me put that back in there, negative 3/4. Alright, is my vertical, and my horizontal asymptote is going to be 1/4, so not quite on the x-axis, just slightly above it. Alright, so now you can go ahead and find points. You can use the second table feature in your calculator, and then we can go ahead and plot. So we have 0, 0, and we have negative 1 and 1, which is up here. Alright, these 2 points are reflections of each other. And then just choose a couple of other points, plug them into your equation. Alright, if I did 1, solve it, and we would get approximately 0.14. So come over here, 1.14, what you see your 2 points here, and you're just going to make your curve following those asymptotes. And you would do the same thing over here, sketch a graph, and you can tell that it's getting very close to the asymptote, but it will never cross. And you'll have a problem similar to that. Alright, so make sure you have those rules that I asked you to write down in the green box. And make sure you have the rules written down on how to find the vertical and horizontal asymptotes on page 541, right below the dotted lines above example number 2.